Welcome to Pencil and Paper for our next episode. So we'll be discussing the problems that we started talking about last week. So I'll begin by talking about number one.
And that's a problem from Next Prize for Girls 2015. We changed the problem a little bit. We want to find all possible integer values for x over y, even though it could be just one, right? But we try to decide if there's only one or not.
Right. So this is the equation that we're given, and well, what we can do is cross multiply it by x plus y because it's in the denominator, and then we get 2 times x plus y is less than x minus y. It's less than 5 times x plus y. And then if we start,
and what's the limitation when you do this? What's the assumption you already made?
Well, we have to be careful in doing this because if x plus y is negative, then bad things will happen because if you multiply by a negative number, the sign of the inequality has to change.
Right?
So let's hope for now x plus y is positive. And then maybe later we can consider the case where it's negative. So now over here, if we look at this part of the inequality, we can write that as 2x plus 2y less than x minus y, or move the x to this side, y over there. We get x is less than negative 3y. So if we're trying to find x over y, I mean x over y is less than negative 3. But
you have one more assumption.
Because we're dividing by y.
Exactly.
So we hope y is greater than 0.
And if y is not greater than 0,
y is less than 0, then we have x over y is greater than negative 3.
right? And this is all under the assumption that x plus y is what? Positive, right?
Yeah.
And this kind of thing is very hard to control. Is in the sense of when x is bigger, y is bigger, this is their ratio.
Yeah.
And somehow you want this ratio turns into this one to make sure they are positive, right? So that's trouble. And now we also have to deal with this side also,
Yeah,
right?
we looked at that side.
Yeah. So if we do this, we basically have a hell of a time about so many hopes we're going to have, right? Every time we have two cases whenever we divide. So that's very, very cumbersome, right?
Yeah. So this method is not going to work very easily.
Right.
So let's erase all of this and see if we can start over. Well, is there any way we can approach this problem directly without having to do any kind of cross multiplying at all?
I think we should look for what they're asking for, right? Right?
So if we say x over y equals k, now we know k is an integer. And we also know that means x is equal to y times k.
Yeah.
So if we plug it into this, we get 2 less than yk minus y over yk plus y less than 5. And now all the y's cancel. So this is looking good already. We have this equation. And we don't have any hopes yet.
Right.
So,
and the key is right now you are not dealing with what? Inequality, but rather you just simplify one algebraic expression by equality. Right?
The only thing we have touched is the middle part. So now, if we look at this fraction very closely, if the numerator and denominator are both positive numbers, that means k minus 1 is going to be less than k plus 1. So there's no way that the ratio can be more than 2. In fact, it has to be less than 1, because you have a smaller number divided by a bigger number. So that already tells us that this has to be negative. Or in particular, the numerator and denominator both have to be negative. So that means that k, if k plus 1 is negative, k has to be at most negative 2, because it's an integer. And then, if we look at what happens when k becomes less than negative 3, then k minus 1 becomes negative 4 or less, and k plus 1 becomes like negative 2. And then these two are very close to each other, they're only 2 apart. So the ratio will start to get closer and closer to 1, positive 1. And then it will pass this 2 boundary. So actually when k is less than, or when k is equal to negative -3, then we get k minus 1 over k plus 1 equals -4 over -2, which is 2. So since this is strict, this is already bad. So k kind of need to be less than or equal to -3.
So I think that this part can be cleaned up better in your work, because you were talking about how these ratios actually are monotonic.
Yeah.
I think you can simplify this better to make it look better.
Yeah.
So for example, you should, one approach I can think about is, more or less going with what you are talking about is, you easily simplify this fraction into 1 minus 2 over k plus 1. Because that controls monotonic better.
Yeah,
That's
that is one good way to do it. So here, we can write this as 1 minus 2 over k minus 1, or k plus 1.
Yeah. And then this fraction simplifies better.
So then, if this is between 2 and 5, that means that if we just look at this part, 2 over k plus 1, it has to be in between -1 and -4. So it is less than -1 and more than -4.
So by that time, you know very clearly the value you can take as an integer value is what? -2.
Right? And it's clearly the only possibility that works.
Yeah.